and then we're good to go.
Yeah. You need to pull up audition and start.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna start that right now.
Yep.
Perfect. Appreciate it, Jim. Hello, Twitch viewers. How you guys doing today? My name is Christian Hill. I work here at WZS as the news and sports operations director. And so, this is the first episode of something new we're starting here at WZS. Something to give my young bulls, my freshmen, an opportunity to talk about sports. Obviously, we have our own talk show, award-winning talk show, Sports Extra, that happens on Mondays. But we decided to bring something new, bring it to a podcast form in a way with Sports Extra Uncut. To my right here, I have
Draven Wiseman.
Draven Wiseman, definitely a freshman, standout freshman here at WZS. And to my left, I have
Kobe Clark.
And so today, these two are going to kind of go at it, talk about some things, and talk about Super Bowl predictions, early Super Bowl predictions. Who's their favorite? What the NFC, AFC contention looks like? Who do you think is coming out of which division? And kind of go at it from there. I'm going to take a step out and let them two go at it and have a great time. But yes, stay tuned. We're going to have more freshmen, more people. You'll see me on the podcast a couple times as well. But for the first episode, it's going to be them two. So I'm going to leave it to you guys. Go ahead and handle your business.
Yes, sir. Christian, thank you so much. Draven, are you ready for me?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Yeah, so I think the best way we should start off, go by division winners, and then we'll head off into the Super Bowl winners. So who we think is the favorite no matter what, okay? So we want to start AFC or NFC? I'll let you pick that one.
I think let's go with the NFC, because I think there's many more powerhouses in the NFC, and a very hard conversation, and we might as well get that one out of the way first.
All right, man. Let's start off easy. I think this one, the division's pretty simple. Who's winning this one? NFC East. It's simple. Dallas. Come on now.
Well, Dallas, they're very questionable. You know, they came out strong against the Bucs in Week 1, and then we've seen different flaws to where they're kind of a questionable contender in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And Dak Prescott, we've seen him after his ankle injury last season versus the Giants, and this year he came in, he's pretty much Dak Prescott still.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's proven it all 5 games that they've played so far this season. But that defense is just really questionable for the Cowboys.
It is.
And they have not enough cap space to sign any superstars either, and that's going to be the main reason Dallas is going to be very questionable when it comes to playoffs, but they could be also the underdog like the Bucs were last season as well. Nobody thought the Bucs were going to go to the Super Bowl and win, and especially against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they did that.
Exactly.
So I think Dallas will win it, but at the same time, I think they're going to be a first round, maybe second round exit. Yeah.
I got my hopes high for Dallas, mainly going off what the defense is right now with Trayvon Diggs locking down every receiver he's played so far. I believe this man now has 6 or 5 interceptions alone on the year. Trayvon Diggs is definitely a top candidate for DPOY. And going to the offense, I mean, Zeke, he's back now, you know, after his little riddled injury season last year, and just the O-line wasn't healthy, and he just had an off year, but now this year he's really produced well. Dak Prescott finally back under center. It's like everything is clicking well for Dallas, and it's hard to say that this could be just a little 5-week run they got going on, of course, but I think Dallas could definitely be a threat long-term right now going into the playoffs coming up.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, Dallas is a threat when it comes to certain things, but also we have to talk about Washington, because Washington, I mean, they're 2-3 on the season, but at the same time, they've showed big sparks to where they could be contenders if they figure out their quarterback situation they've had going on, and especially their core at wide receiver. I mean, that's going to be the certain things. The Eagles also 2-3, which kind of surprises me personally, but at the same time, I think the Cowboys being 4-1, that one loss being to the Buccaneers Week 1, I think the Cowboys are going to be pretty much the fan favorite to win the East and the NFC.
I think Dallas is going to run away with it for sure. Let's transition now. Tough division right here. All 4 of these teams really could have a make or break game to where they make it or don't make the playoffs. NFC West. Let's start from the top to the bottom. Arizona Cardinals, undefeated right now, currently 5-0, only undefeated team in the NFL. It's hard to say that this is not a fluke at all from what we've seen with Kyler Murray and with what DeAndre Hopkins has been producing. J.J. Watt also, now first year as an Arizona Cardinal, former ex-Houston Texan. He's had a great year also. Why wouldn't it not be the Cardinals to win the division right now?
See, it's hard because, I mean, you have the Cardinals, you have the Rams, and you have the Seahawks.
Yes.
And Seahawks, that's a big, big question because
There's a lot going on there.
Russell Wilson can't stay healthy this season. 49ers, they don't know what they're doing at quarterback.
Trey
One
Lance
game.
will now be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, and then Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, he's played pretty solid this season, but at the same time, I mean, they want to get that rookie in Trey Lance and to be able to get his reps. But the main team I think that will pull out in this division is going to be the LA Rams. Only because they had one piece missing last season, and that was quarterback.
Yes.
And they traded Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford to the Detroit Lions, and holy moly. Like, Kobe, when I say the Rams, like, they're just atmosphere, especially at home games, as I watch Rams home games, it is insane. And Matthew Stafford has proved he should be a MVP candidate this season.
Oh, for sure.
Not only in this season, he's proved it with Detroit too, but on the circumstances of him being in Detroit, I mean, that's one thing said for another.
I mean, come on, it's Detroit. I mean, they haven't really, their last good season is 2015.
Yeah, and looking at that, the NFC West is probably the most stacked because you have Kyler Murray, MVP candidate, arguably. Matthew Stafford, arguably the MVP. And then you got, Russell Wilson, he is injured. I think this will be the last year Russell Wilson plays with the Seahawks.
Really?
Yeah, I think the Seahawks will end up drafting a quarterback this season, and I think they're going to let go of Russell Wilson. 49ers, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think that Patriots might trade up for Jimmy Garoppolo to come back to New England.
Wouldn't that be funny? Seeing that
And
happen.
yes, Mac Jones is a starter right now, but you need a vet for Mac Jones, someone that's been in the system plenty of years. And you've had multiple quarterbacks that have been in the Patriots organization, like Jimmy Garoppolo. You have Jacoby Brissett, who played in Indy for a long time and then plays for Miami now.
Yep.
But 49ers are questionable. I think they're going to stay at the bottom, sadly.
Yes.
And I think the Seahawks are going to stay at the bottom as well. But I think this one is the biggest question, like as standings go for a conference, is Cardinals and Rams.
Yeah.
Because if Cardinals slip up a little bit, the Rams could easily take over because they're only 4-1, and then the Cardinals are 5-0. But Kyler Murray this season,
He's just been phenomenal.
he has been like better than Tom Brady, like in his prime. And
Whoa.
yes,
Oh, no, man. Oh,
Baby
man.
Yoda the Baby Yoda sitting stamps for Kyler Murray just tells you he is the Baby Yoda of Tom Brady.
Man. Well, I mean, looking at this list right now, it's difficult to see with what Russell Wilson rumored right now to be missing about 7 to 8 weeks. So that potentially that's gonna maybe give him 4 games to work with. And depending on what Geno Smith can do there, I think Seattle's not making it this year. They're gonna have to cut their losses. I don't see it as Seattle getting rid of Russell Wilson. I see it as Russell Wilson wanting to leave if a potential distaste were to come of there in Seattle. San Francisco, on the other hand, their team is just so solid defensively, but they just don't know what they're doing on offense really. And they got George Kittle. I mean, come on, George Kittle. But they don't have they used to have one of the best run games in the NFL, and right now it's just meh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not. There's not that one guy that they can really rely on.
Here's the biggest question. If Russell Wilson was to leave Seattle, I think the biggest target he could come to a conclusion with, and that has the money for him, is Indianapolis. Indianapolis released Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Wentz, it's Carson Wentz. You never know what's going to happen with
Yeah.
him. Yes, he had an outstanding performance last night versus the Ravens, and that's probably his best game in the past 3 years.
And then what happened?
They lost.
Yep, he blew it.
Well, yeah, the Colts blew it, but I mean, it's the Ravens. They're pretty fast. You have Lamar Jackson, and we'll get to him in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Russell Wilson, you never know where he'll go because he's kind of like Tom Brady. Tom Brady, nobody knew he was going to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Like, who would want to go to the Bucs at that time? Because
Exactly.
and then within a year, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl with the Bucs. So that just tells you the dominance of some of these players. And I feel like Russell Wilson, him adding to a team to the caliber of like a Super Bowl contender, I think he's going to go to maybe like if Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay, that's where Russell Wilson comes in, or something like that. There's multiple things that can happen.
There's a lot of things. Like, if this happens, then this might happen. That's all for a different conversation one day. But, man, oh man, NFC West is a long conversation away from who can potentially win the division and make it. Transitioning now, NFC North. I mean, this one, another pretty easy one, going off of what the NFC East was. Lions 0-5. Then you got the Vikings, who are just scratching and strong, barely staying at 2-3. The Bears somehow with a positive record after what they've had to deal with as Justin Fields fans and Andy Dalton fans, if there is any. And then Packers, they've had a whole, man, this whole division really is just so whack right now. Somehow the Packers lose to New Orleans week 1 by embarrassing fashion. And then they win 4 straight right now. And it's looking like Aaron Rodgers has found his groove again, as you want to say, because week 1 it was not there to begin with at all. And now Devontae Adams and him are connecting on all cylinders. So, is it really tough to say not Green Bay? Like, it's got to be Green Bay at this point.
See, I'm not sure, because
Really?
at the same time, I mean, Chicago, they have their struggles. I mean, I think they found their core quarterback at Justin Fields, but they have to find protection for him on the line.
Yes, they do.
He has been sacked the most times in the NFL this season so far, and he's a rookie. And I don't know
Didn't
about
even play week 1.
yeah, I don't know about you, but that kind of gives me PTSD going back to Andrew Luck.
No one wants to hear that.
Yeah,
Especially
and
if you're an Indy fan.
yeah, that's kind of scares me a little bit because I loved Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. He was amazing. I believe that's the biggest question in Indy history is if Andrew Luck would have stayed 100% healthy before retiring. I believe the Colts would have won the Super Bowl that year. But with that being said, Chicago having their differences, Aaron Rodgers questionably the last year in Green Bay. I think the Packers will pull out. I don't think they'll get very far in the playoffs, but I also think they're going to make it. So.
Oh, of course. And, you know, I mean, we might as well show some love, I guess, to Minnesota. I mean, they've had some really close games this year, but only having 2 wins so far after 5 weeks is not pretty. They always seem to be just right there, but they never make the leap over. It's just not happening. Green Bay is just. I think Green Bay's got it all this year. It's kind of hard not to say that. And then going into the NFC South division, the reigning defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still leading the division right now, 4-1 on the year. And then you go to surprising Carolina Panthers, surprising some right now, who started out 3-0 on the year, but have dropped their last 2, making them 3-2. New Orleans Saints, going from what they once had of the Drew Brees, Sean Payton era, now taking over is the young man, Jameis Winston, in that offensive system. They're 3-2 as well. And then Atlanta, good old Atlanta, 2-3. What are your thoughts on this division?
I'm a Buccaneers, Tom Brady fan, so Buccaneers will win it. As we were talking about before this, I don't know if they'll make it to the Super Bowl, sadly. I want Tom Brady to win another one just to prove that he didn't need Bill Belichick in New England. He already proved that. But at the same time, this year I think is his retribution year, meaning he already beat New England this year. Going back to Foxborough, very emotional for Tom Brady. And I understand that he played there for, what was it, 20 years?
20 years, yes.
And that's insane. Imagine going back to a team, beating them, but you played with all these players for over 20 years.
That was the better part of his half his life on this earth. That's his home, right?
Yeah, and like he said in the, I was watching the post game interview, and he was like, "This is my home." I was like, whether or not I play for this team, Foxborough has been my home for the longest time. I think the Buccaneers will pull out. Saints, I'm sorry, Kobe.
We can talk about that.
I know you're a Saints fan, but I think they're gonna stay at the bottom. I think the Panthers are too strong.
Really? The Panthers? That's the one?
Teddy Bridgewater and not Teddy Bridgewater. Sam Darnold, he's a good quarterback. He's been solid this season. I think the Jets just never gave him a chance, and now he's having a chance in Carolina. And I think the Saints, they're just a little bit under. Yes, they have Alvin Kamara. Yes, they have Michael Thomas, an injured Michael Thomas for that matter.
He will be back soon.
Hopefully.
After the bye week, he is rumored to be returning.
Hopefully, but he won't be 100%.
That is not. Yeah, that's most likely. And obviously, from what we've heard during the preseason and all before training camp, there's a lot of speculation between him and Sean Payton, and they just didn't get along.
And there's really no point of talking about the Falcons. I think they're just going to stay at the bottom. I mean, Matt Ryan, yes, he had his good season, blowing a 28-3 lead against the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl, but that was his final moment. I think after that loss, it crushed his confidence, and now, I mean, he's an average quarterback. He can pull off some plays here and there, but I think after that Super Bowl loss, you could just see him just kind of declining very rapidly as seasons go by.
I don't see Matt Ryan staying in Atlanta much longer.
I don't know where he would fit if he left.
That's a good question. I don't know if another team really wants him to be their starter.
Maybe Indianapolis if Carson Wentz doesn't work out.
That's a tough decision. I think I prefer Carson Wentz, to be honest. But
I don't know.
We do a former MVP, Matt Ryan. Gotta give him some respect. So going back to the Panthers real quick though. Let's talk about their schedule so far. Week 1, they beat the Jets. Week 2, they downright beat us bad, the Saints, which was very impressive. They just came out on fire. Then they play Houston on Thursday Night Football. Okay. And then Dallas puts them right back in their place. And then they lose to Philly. So I don't know about Carolina really going much further than being the mid teams of the NFL and losing to some of them. Because they got on their next 4 games, all winnable, of course. Minnesota, New York Giants, Atlanta, New England. But it comes down to the later schedule where they got Arizona coming up and then they got Buffalo and Tampa.
Yeah, so I don't think the Panthers will be able to powerhouse, out of Buffalo, out of Arizona, out of Tampa. But I think they're a good enough team. They're kind of like the Falcons when they went to the Super Bowl. They weren't able to beat all the great teams, like in the regular season, but they were able to beat the meh teams, like you mentioned, the Jets, the Giants, and then somehow they went through all the good teams in the playoffs and somehow made it to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I think this could be Carolina. Maybe not this year. They need to rebuild a little bit more after losing Teddy Bridgewater, but at the same time, I think it was Teddy Bridgewater for Panthers, right?
It was last season, yes.
And then I think they need to rebuild around Sam Darnold to how Sam Darnold plays. I think that was the main thing with the Jets, is they would not build around Sam Darnold.
They wouldn't. I feel like they never really had good trust in him to begin with. Like, was he really their guy they wanted back in that draft?
I don't know.
I think they wanted Baker a lot, and they just had to settle, even though there were still good options like Allen.
But that's the bad thing about drafts, is teams can just throw away quarterbacks. And we've seen that a lot in the past couple of years. I mean, even with going away from the quarterback position, we've seen that. I mean, look at Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
He had a good first couple of years, and then now he's injury prone because his wear and tear he keeps running the ball, because that's the Giants aren't building off of Daniel Jones. They're building off of Saquon Barkley. And that's why the wear and tear on him is just getting so bad that he's injured all the time.
Yeah. They had a lot of injuries, by the way. Did you see their game? They had Saquon, Daniel Jones, and Kenny Galladay. The big three-headed monster over in Giants land is somehow injured right now. And they have to be settled with Devontae Booker, Mike Glennon, and what's his name? Tony, rookie wide receiver, who actually did a very impressive job against Dallas, so congratulations to him. But let's just end this off real quick with New Orleans. And I just have a couple of things I want to get off my chest about New Orleans. I know. Shake your head at me one more time. I'm kidding. 3-2 New Orleans Saints. Looking at their schedule coming up, we get a bye week this week. Desperately need it. Now, I'll tell you why. We have a lot of injuries coming back. A lot of injured players coming off IR and are eligible to play. Our starting center, Eric McCoy, he will be back. Left tackle Terran Armstead, who one of the best left tackles in the NFL, period. He will be coming back here soon. Of course, the great Michael Thomas, top 5 wide receiver when healthy. Then you go to the defensive side of the ball, where David Onyemata has been suspended for 6 games in the NFL season. Defensive end Marcus Dabmore, who played phenomenal in that Green Bay win, he's been out ever since. Quan Alexander, he's been out ever since that game as well. And then we finally get our kicker, Will Lutzbeck, who, man, if I have to witness another Cody Parkey or Aldrich Rosas moment, I might freak out, because they are not what Will Lutz is for us. But with all these key players coming back and what the team has already been doing with the likes of Lattimore, P.J. Williams, Marcus Williams, and Kamara on offense, it's tough to say that this team doesn't make a run for it once we get back into full game shape. Because I'll just list off the first 4 games we got. Monday night, Seahawks, no Russell Wilson. It's in Seattle, of course, but with this whole team fully healthy, who says it can't happen? Tampa Bay in New Orleans, that will be a very tough game, very make it or prove it game right there. Atlanta, we always know those 2 teams back and forth hate each other so much, huge rivalry. It'll be a dirty game, and this game I will actually be attending, so I'll let you know in person. Tennessee and New Orleans. So a lot of outweighing the positives and negatives right here, but I'm not going to count them out.
I'm not going to count them out either, but at the same time, injuries are the question.
Yeah.
If a player comes back from an injury, there's not 100% chance they're going to come back the same. And that's what we've seen with multiple players that have come back from injuries. They have, they take a year or so, and they don't come back the same. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, Andrew Luck. He couldn't come back fully because he was so scared of getting hit that he would just go down.
Exactly.
But going off of that, and the Saints, my Bucks.
Yes.
See,
your Bucks. Are
yes.
you claiming them?
Yes.
I
am claiming the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Tampa.
But I don't know if they're going to make it to the Super Bowl because there are so many powerhouses in the NFC this year, and nobody expected it to be. Like Cardinals, Rams.
Yep, those are the 2 that I'm most confident in making it.
The Cardinals are strong enough to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They are.
The Rams, they've already beat them.
They've proved it.
And the biggest question I have for the Tampa Bay Bucks, Tom Brady's questionable for this week.
Yes.
Antonio Brown, he had a breakout game 1.
Yep.
So far, he's done nothing ever since. He's had a few catches here and there, touchdowns.
A pretty good touchdown pass receiving catch yesterday, or 2 days ago. What day is it?
Today's Tuesday, so Sunday versus Miami.
Yes.
And Rob Gronkowski. The dynamic duo,
Yeah.
Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski. He's on fire this year. Like, he injured his ribs. He couldn't travel to Foxborough, which I'm heartfelt for him.
Dang.
Because Foxborough was his home too with Tom Brady. And looking at the likes of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and then Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette, he had an awesome game this week.
He did. The
And
running game is what really needs to figure it out in Tampa.
Yeah.
And so far it's happening.
See, it's questionable because one week they'll do fine.
Mm-hmm.
Next week Fournette just kind of falls off a cliff that week,
Yeah.
and then he comes back.
And then
So-
Ronald Jones doesn't help it either.
Yeah, and their defense is what makes me nervous even more. They almost let Dallas beat them. Dallas is a contender, as we mentioned a little bit ago, but that defense came out week 1. They were not the defense that won that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
That's
they're
very true.
slowly coming back. You can see it, but at the same time, I don't know, because there's a lot of defensive players on the Bucs that are injured, and I think there's 3 or 4 that have been injured the past couple weeks that are coming back this week.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's Tom Brady, questionably the greatest of all time. I think he's the greatest of all time. People argue with me. I get it. Drew Brees is up there too. You know, Peyton Manning. It's a big question on who's the greatest of all time. But for me, Tom Brady is not only, I think, the greatest of all time, but I think he's the greatest system quarterback of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he did extraordinarily when he went to New England. I mean, playing 2000, I think it was 2002 he won his first Super Bowl. 2001.
Yes.
I think, 2001. That was his second year at New England. The second year from being a rookie, he took Drew Bledsoe's starting job and won a Super Bowl his second year. And now he's at 7 rings. And all of them, questionably, the defense won the Super Bowls, especially in New England. They had that vet defense that was able to do things. Tom Brady is a very, I would say, smart quarterback. And his time in the league has shown the wear and tear on him, especially this year. You can just see like the gray hairs on his head now, and he's almost 50. I mean, he's getting there, and he wants to play until 50. And
I'm not stopping him.
that scares me though, because if he's gonna push himself that hard, he's healthy, like extraordinarily healthy. I don't think he eats meat. I heard.
I don't know what that man has been on.
I heard he eats like lettuce meat or like the what is it called? Like it's made out of plants.
I know you're talking. I just can't think of the name of it.
They make meat out of plants, and I think that's what he eats.
Huh.
And which is weird. A lot of people.
How do you do that?
Exactly.
That's a different conversation.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
What is this?
But Tom Brady is basically this year. I don't think Tom Brady has ever had a season to where there's this many great QBs. I mean, there's so many great QBs in the league this year,
man.
and a lot of them are surprisingly amazing. Like they're good. They were good last year, and they were good the year before. But this year they're just all out amazing. Yeah. And the biggest question we'll probably talk about in a little bit is Patrick Mahomes this season.
We'll get there.
And right now I think he's at the bottom 10 of the MVP favorites.
Oh, for sure.
Because I mean, taking a look at the quarterbacks for the NFL that are probably questionably better than Tom Brady now, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott can be questionably better than Tom Brady now. Justin Herbert, we're gonna get to him in a little bit.
Oh man,
he is insane.
I got a lot to say about that man.
Trying to think of a few more. Teddy Bridgewater with the Panthers. I mean, with the Broncos now. He's had a few good games.
I can't say Teddy's better though.
I don't think he's better than Tom Brady, but I think he's gonna get there eventually.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember who I mentioned.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Joe Burrow.
See, I'm not bought into Joe Burrow. Only because, one, his passes are not accurate. A lot of his wide receivers have to run farther than what they're supposed to catch the ball. I will give Joe Burrow props though. After he tore his ACL and he came back, I think he came back stronger than what he was last season.
Oh yeah.
I think he's better now than he was when he got drafted. And Bengals, I mean, it's a questionable team, obviously. But Joe Burrow, I think he's going to be, not now and not for the next couple years, but when he gets into his prime, like 5 years down the line, he will questionably be one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league at that time. Right now, no, because there's still, I mean, you have Aaron Rodgers that are questionably better than Tom Brady. You have Jameis Winston. Some people compare him to Tom Brady.
Hey, I didn't say it. Christian, you said it.
I do not go on the Jameis Winston bandwagon.
Lamar, I think.
Oh, we'll get to Lamar. His game last night was insane.
Man, this is crazy to see the Chiefs down at the bottom. But let's just recap the NFC real quick with our top 3 teams that we have previewing to make the Super Bowl this year, and then we'll go finish it off with the AFC. For me, my top 3, we can rank them. Number 3, Dallas. Number 2, Arizona. And number 1, I'm going with the Rams. Not Tampa. They're at 4.
You're something.
I am. That's how I'm gonna roll.
My top three, I think I'm gonna have to go number 1, Rams.
Yes.
Number 2, Bucks.
Okay.
Because if that defense goes up to how they beat the Chiefs last season in the Super Bowl, nobody will be able to beat that defense. And same thing with LA. If LA keeps it up, nobody will beat that defense. And number 3, it's a big question.
The Lions.
Yes, the Lions. The Lions are going to the Super Bowl. I don't know. It's kind of hard. I can't pick 3.
Can't.
Because Cardinals, they can make it. But the coaching staff, they're known to choke in big situation games. Same thing with Dallas. So it kind of just depends on who they pull in the first round and how rankings go in the playoffs. Because if they're in the wild card, that's another question because they have that new system with the wild card. Which
7 teams now.
Yeah, it's weird. And
only the top, I think only the number 1 seed gets the bye.
Yep, only the number 1. I think there's 4 teams that automatically make it to the playoffs.
Yes, the division winners. So, for example, the Bucks, Packers, Cardinals, and Cowboys, if the season ended today, would make the playoffs. And then it would be the Rams as the 5, Bears as the 6, and Panthers at 7.
So mine is going to be number 1 Bucks, number 2 Rams, and number 3 I'm going to have to go with the Cardinals.
All right.
Dallas, close 4th.
Close.
But I think the Cardinals have proved more this season that they can beat powerhouse teams like Buffalo, like Tampa Bay, like Green Bay. But Dallas, I think they have something coming up their sleeve. But we'll just have to find out in the coming weeks.
My hopes are high for Dallas. Don't fail me now. Let's go on now over to the AFC. We'll go do the exact same thing we did with the NFC. AFC East, West, North, South. Let's start off now. AFC East. I mean, Jets and Dolphins, I'm sorry. Too young of the teams to really make sense. I mean, New England, you got Bill Belichick over there, but your quarterback situation with Mac Jones, I have high hopes for him, but not this year. He's still a rookie. We can honestly just end it here and just say Buffalo and move on because it's not going to be anyone else.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's no question. I think this is the second time really New England has had a losing season since Tom Brady left. And
their defense is really good, I would say. It's improved since last year, all those signings they had last year.
The biggest stupid thing I could say the Patriots did was release Cam Newton. Yes, he's had his questions, but why would you just make him the backup? I don't know why you would cut it. I mean, Cam Newton, yes, I don't think he's, Playboy Cam Newton that was in Carolina anymore.
Oh, no, definitely not.
But I think he still deserves to be on a team.
I would agree.
Maybe as a backup, not as a starting quarterback.
Backup at this point in his career, yes.
But at the same time, Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh could easily pick up Cam Newton, and Cam Newton could do great things in Pittsburgh instead of Big Ben. And we'll get to that here in a little bit as well. But Big Ben is not.
He's not it.
He's done.
It might be over here soon for him.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of quarterbacks, I feel like there's just so many teams with the quarterback situation that are either really set for the future, could easily be replaced with a couple teams, and then there's just these few teams that have their quarterback but are too young. So, like for example, New England or New York, both ways.
Or Miami.
Miami, yeah. I don't see Cam Newton really even getting a chance in any of that system. The only teams that really make sense are ones that are just like sort of there, but aren't really set with their quarterback. Like maybe the Raiders, for example, with Derek Carr. He's been impressive this year. Oh man, we could talk about the Raiders and what's going on there, but we'll just stick about the Super Bowl previews.
I think Derek Carr is the Tom Brady of the Raiders. I think
I've never been high on Derek.
But I've never have been either. But seeing him play this season, he's getting better every single season.
He has. It's just weird.
He just doesn't have a core around him to be great, and that's the thing about Derek Carr. Is I said that something like along the lines the other day to one of my football buddies that play here at Indiana State. Derek Carr is the Steph Curry of the NFL. He does
What?
Just hear me out.
Where?
Steph Curry's loyalty to Golden State. He does not want to leave. Derek Carr has said multiple times he does not want to leave the Raiders.
Okay.
And that's the thing that I love about Derek and I love about Steph at the same time is loyalty is the biggest fault in our pro teams.
Oh, that's for sure.
And it's gotten so much worse the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the NBA.
Yes. Awful. I could go on and
We
on.
can keep talking.
Yes. But I'm not going to talk about the NBA because I get very upset when I talk about that. But Derek Carr and Steph Curry are very alike in the similarities of loyalty. Derek Carr has said he wants to retire as a Raider. Yes. Would that happen? I don't think so because I think the Raiders will move on from him before he moves on from the Raiders. Something like Tom Brady. Tom Brady wanted to retire as a Patriot. Their relationship with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady got so bad, he left. Now, we'll talk about the Raiders because they're not in the conference we're talking about. But I'm not going to get too big into that because a lot of people make me mad because they say Derek Carr sucks, but at the same time, he is probably one of the top 10 quarterbacks right now.
Top 10 right now. But once it gets down to later on in the season, I don't see it that way.
Yes.
And that's been a really
That's Derek Carr.
routine. Yeah, it's routine.
First 8 weeks or so,
Yeah.
Derek Carr is amazing. And then just kind of after the season goes on, he just kind of declines. And then the Raiders don't make it to the playoffs.
Man, it is crazy to think what the Raiders have going for them right now and what the news with John Gruden is, of how he just got fired with all those emails.
He resigned.
Well, he was getting fired.
I think it was one of those one of those things where they told him to resign or they were going to fire him.
I feel like, yeah, it was probably
Yeah.
most likely that, or it's like, hey, if you don't do this, we'll have to let you go. I mean, it was gonna happen. I can't believe all of this came out from what he had to say from dating back to what I believe 2011.
Yeah.
All those emails about race, sexuality. It's just not needed in this world, and I think the Raiders did what they needed to do, and they got him out of there. So now they're turning a new leaf, as most people would say. See where they go. I don't know as of right now who's taking over the head coaching position over in Las Vegas. I had to read a little bit more into it, but they're gonna have to figure that one out quite soon. But since we're on the AFC West topic, the Raiders, I don't see them as a contender. Really, man, why are the Chiefs down there? It's just so weird to see them below the Broncos and Raiders.
See, you can't really predict this conference, especially now, because why the heck are the Chiefs at the bottom? For one,
It's crazy.
For two, why are the Chargers at the top at 4-1?
I'll tell you why. Justin freaking Herbert.
Yes, and the Broncos. I mean, we talked about the Broncos. They're a good team. They're a good average team, just like the Raiders. The Raiders, I believe, they went 3-0, and then they lost the last 2 games. But I mean, the Chiefs. I have to laugh about that because one, what the heck happened? Super Bowl contender, questionably the greatest quarterback right now, the greatest offense right now.
Yep.
What happened? The loss to Buccaneers in the Super Bowl?
I wouldn't just say it's that. We were talking before with him with Christian, and Christian had a lot to say. Christian was telling me that a lot of the defenses have figured it out.
Yeah.
About the offense, and I think that showed not only in their first game of the season, but like with Baltimore, that one really showed how the defense of Baltimore really picked up, and their offense went out and just had a field day on the. They never really been that good. Their defense of Kansas City.
Now, before you go to your next topic, if the Chiefs turn it around right now,
Yes.
Week 6,
They win. Who do they play this week? We need to investigate a little bit. Let's see who they play.
They play Washington.
That's
So
a win. That should be a win.
That should be definitely a win. But if they have to go on a winning spree right now, they can do what the Bucks did. I believe the Bucks were 2-3 at one point last season,
I think so.
and I believe they won.
They were
They destroyed the rest of the season.
They ended their year on a 5-game win streak, and then they went on like games in the playoffs, obviously.
Yeah, and the Chiefs can do that. Maybe not. It kind of, if they change their offense right now, as one of our Christians said, and Andy Reid pulls it over or pulls it out of his butt, I don't know what he can do. But I think, sadly, I'm not going to say sadly because he's amazing. The Chargers will come out at the top with the AFC
I'd love to
West.
see that. I would love that.
Justin Herbert, questionably MVP right now.
MVP, yeah. I mean, top 5.
He's top 2.
Top 2.
Top 2. Him
Kyler.
and Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Tom Brady is up there.
Not this year, man. Sorry.
He broke the record. So I mean, he was, I think.
Oh. Let's talk about that record. Yeah. Let's talk about how the man's 44, and he took way more passes attempts than Brees did. But
But I think the Chargers will come out. Justin Herbert will still be on fire. He's a young quarterback. He still has time to improve. He's not even in his prime yet.
He's really not. It's only his third season.
Second. I think second.
Yeah, this is second.
Yeah.
I feel like he's been in here forever.
Yeah, and he's 4-1 as a second-year
my
quarterback.
God.
And that's freaking insane. He's kind of like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes came in, destroyed the league his first 2 years, and then now.
After that, he did have that 1 year sitting.
Yeah, he did have 1 year sitting under Alex Smith, and I love Alex
The
Smith.
GOAT.
He's
How can you hate him?
the most underrated quarterback probably of all time.
He's really good.
But I think the Chargers will come out. Justin Herbert, I think the Chargers are going to be the favorites, one of the favorites in the AFC Championship this year.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to see how the Chargers do.
Bro, looking at the Chiefs' schedule right now, they have a hard, tough one looking forward to. They got Washington and Tennessee, New York Giants, and then they got Green Bay, Las Vegas, and Dallas. Where obviously we've seen what Las Vegas has done this year. We talked about that, but just Green Bay, Dallas, and then Tennessee, it's just not looking that good for them right now. And then of course they play LA again. Oh man, this is a whack year right now if you're a Kansas City fan. But let us go now into the AFC North, where we got one team that's just looking awful compared to what other seasons have shown us. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they've been looking phenomenal. 4-game win streak after dropping their first week 1 loss. Joe Burrow, he's finally healthy with the Bengals. They are 3-2. The Browns, a little bit surprising, with how they have been wanting their defense and offense looking like this year from last season. They're 3-2, and man, something's not right here. Steelers, bottom? Weren't they like 11-0 last year? What happened?
The biggest 11-0 bust I've ever seen as I have been on this earth.
Oh, wow.
Steelers, I feel so bad for Big Ben.
It's not his fault.
I know. This season, I feel so bad for him. He cannot get his A game up. After that loss last season, you can see how it took a toll on him. I believe the Steelers organization is in the wrong for putting faith in the Big Ben, saying he could still be the starter of an NFL team. He could have stayed this season to be a backup. There's Mason Rudolph. Like, you can start. I guess you could say start.
He's a little busy right now, seeing stars somewhere.
But then there's Cam Newton. There's multiple quarterbacks that are free agents right now that you can give chances.
They have Dwayne Haskins. Like, has Haskins really been that bad in practice? To where okay. It comes down to this. It's Big Ben. It's Ben Roethlisberger. This man has been here since 2004. They're not gonna do him like what New York did to Eli Manning and be like, yeah, we're gonna sit you. We're gonna have Geno Smith play this week. Sorry, man.
Now
No, it's not like that.
My biggest con. Everybody's gonna hate me for this on Twitch. The biggest thing I want to happen, and like I said, a lot of people are gonna disagree with me. I think Colin Kaepernick should still be in the league. Yes.
I would say in the league, not a starter.
No, not a starter. But at the same time, a lot of things have happened with Colin Kaepernick. And yes, everything happened, yes. But he's still, I mean, I think, wasn't it last year he worked out with the Saints?
I don't think it was the Saints.
I forget who
I feel
it
like I
was.
remember that.
But he has still a bomb of an arm. I mean, he can still
How old
be.
is this man? I haven't heard much about him, really, in the last couple of months.
I don't know how old he is. I think he might be in his mid-30s.
Oh, he's got to be in his 30s somewhere. 33 years old.
Yeah.
So,
So he's still young. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know. But I feel like personally, yes, he should be in the league. Should he be a starter? Maybe not. Should he be a backup? Definitely. There are so many teams that could use a good backup and a vet backup for that instance that he would be very good as a backup. Now, I'm going to get off that topic just in
Yeah.
case someone disagrees with that. But that's my main thing is he should be in the league. Should he be a starter? No. But there's multiple teams here that have representation that they need a quarterback. Now, as you're talking about, off topic from that, Ravens 4-1. Lamar Jackson insane last night. No,
Man.
Sunday night. No, it was last
It was
night.
Monday night.
Monday Night Football, Indianapolis Colts versus the Baltimore Ravens. Holy moly.
Man.
That was probably the best game of the season so far. Carson Wentz came out like MVP Carson Wentz was.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck happened with Carson Wentz the past couple weeks. He was questionably, after he had that surgery on the offseason, questionably came back too early, just like Quentin Nelson.
I didn't think he was ready.
I don't think he was ready either. Now we see MVP Carson Wentz, especially against a team like the Ravens.
Yeah. What a time to shine.
Yeah, and they took the Ravens in overtime. Yes, he blew it in overtime, but at the same time, that you should give a pat on the back on yourself for that. You take the Ravens to overtime,
Mm-hmm.
have questionably one of the greatest games in the past couple years for yourself.
Right.
Still blow it, but at the same time, a lot of quarterbacks do that. Looking at the Bengals, my boy, Joe Burrow.
Joey B.
Joe Burrow, as I mentioned, tore his ACL.
Mm-hmm.
Stronger now than he was before he tore his ACL. I think, by far.
Oh, yeah.
His
I think
arm
so.
is a lot stronger now. His legs.
The team's better.
Yeah,
The old
that's-
line's healthier.
It's-
He's got weapons.
Yeah, and he didn't have weapons last year. He didn't have an offensive line at all. Now the Browns,
Man, what is going on with Cleveland?
you can't say what's going on with them because they have the pieces.
They really do.
They just can't put them together.
I don't get it.
The past 3 years, they have a Super Bowl caliber team with the names like Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr. They have these pieces.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb,
Kareem
yeah.
Hunt.
Kareem Hunt,
That's
yeah.
just offense. We could go defense.
Yeah. And those are
J.D.
the
Clowney, Myles Garrett. Like,
insanely probably a Super Bowl contender.
and Denzel Ward.
But they can't put the pieces together and build the chemistry in Cleveland to be able to win the Super Bowl. Yes, Odell Beckham last year I think tore his ACL,
Something like that.
tore something in his leg. And this year he's had a few breakout games. I think Odell is done with being OG Odell Beckham because I think he's just getting too old at wide receiver now.
A lot of people have. He's just never really been top of the receiving for receivers.
He's had his moments.
It's never been like steady though. Like he's like, oh man, he's like inching top 5, and then there he goes back down like top 15.
The main thing is Odell Beckham Jr. His best career, I guess, team is with the Giants.
Yeah.
Eli Manning. What was I going to say? Oh no, I'm thinking of someone else. Eli Manning and Odell Beckham Jr. Questionably, the only reason he got popular is because his one-handed catch. But at the same time, he's been, average top 15 wide receiver. And getting off topic a little bit back to the Steelers and what I just thought about, that's the biggest question trio that should have won a Super Bowl already.
Oh yeah.
Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Big Ben.
A lot of stuff we can get covered on
Yeah.
Sports Extra Uncut. I cannot wait.
Which we have so much time to be able to do all of this. But with that being said, I mean, Lamar Jackson, it's going to be either Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Browns, the Ravens are too strong. The Bengals' defense is insanely good this year. So I think the Steelers will stay at the bottom. I think Browns questionably can make second in the conference. But if the Bengals do what they're doing now and, contesting every single team that plays them, I think the Bengals will stay at number 2. And Ravens will stay at number 1.
I like the idea. I do like the Ravens more. I don't know how much longer the Bengals can keep the pace with the Browns and Ravens. Juju, he's out for the year. Most likely he'll be missing 8 weeks. But I hope the Browns do turn it around because I have high hopes for them. But let's go now to the last division of the day, AFC South. I feel like there's not a lot more we can talk about the Colts. We're just beating it down at this point. But leave. Go ahead. The Texans start there, 1-4 of the year. They have a whole dumb situation with Deshaun Watson. Like, what is going on there? Well, he's not going to come back. I don't know if he'll ever be. We don't even know if he'll play football again. Let's be honest. Jacksonville, with what Urban Meyer has been having surface up in the last couple of weeks, with how they've honestly been playing good. It's just Jacksonville, Indianapolis. We can talk about them here in a little bit, of course. Tough schedule to start the year. That is just insane bad luck starting out with the Rams and Seahawks, and then you go play Baltimore. As just a few teams they have played. And then number 1, who haven't really looked like the number 1 team in this division, if you really want to talk about it, because the Titans only 3-2. They haven't really been that all impressive. It's just Derrick Henry, and then you got a couple injuries with Julio and A.J. Brown. So, Draven, take it away. Let me hear your thoughts. Who is taking the AFC round this year?
Ooh, I don't know. I want the Indianapolis Colts to do it.
You want them to, but will they?
Probably not.
No.
And I think the Titans are pretty much going to win this conference.
Yeah.
Sadly. But I was just looking at the Colts' schedule, and I feel so bad for them just looking at their schedule. I mean, they have the Texans coming up. That should be a win.
It's nice to know they play Houston.
They play 49ers.
Wow, that's a tough one.
That's questionable. Titans. If they beat the Titans,
That should be an interesting game.
They can make it to the top. Jets. That should be an easy win. Jacksonville should be. Now you get into 2 hard weeks.
Let me see this.
Buffalo versus the Colts.
Ooh. Wow, that's and they play Arizona. Man, I'm sorry. I don't see the Colts. Didn't they go 1-5 one year and then make the playoffs? Yeah, that ain't happening this year. No.
And my excited game, Week 12, November 28th, Lucas Oil Stadium, kickoff 1 p.m. I will be there myself. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Indianapolis Colts.
Tom Brady in Indianapolis. Why not? Bring him back.
The first time Tom Brady has been back since the Deflategate.
First time?
First time.
Wow. It has been a while.
And I think I'm going to sit on the Buccaneers side.
You should. I already bought my tickets.
I bought my tickets already, yeah.
Who do you use? Like what app, ticket provider?
I just use NFL.
Oh, I use SeatGeek. SeatGeek is great. Let me tell you.
I think I got like the middle seats, like the core middle, and it was $138 a ticket.
Really?
Which isn't bad.
How many people are going with you?
2.
2 tickets. Okay.
So it's 3 of us.
138.
Yep.
Give a view, because I want to see. Because I paid like $344 for like.
I think it's on my laptop. I don't think I can pull it
Okay.
up. But
I paid 2 tickets, both tickets for me and my girlfriend, and it's like top row. I mean, it's like there's no bad view in Nissan Stadium from what I've looked at. It's gonna be fun, but man, I just want to get a little bit closer, but dang, they're so expensive.
yeah, see, I think they were on sale because Week 12 is so far away still. And I think the closer they get, the more expensive they get. And I think I got them on sale when they were on sale at the time.
Ah, there you go. See, I waited a month. Like, literally, I have 29 days till this is coming up, so. It's $112 per ticket. It's section 343, if that means anything.
But as we mentioned...
Yeah, we're off topic.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
We keep getting off topic. They play the Jaguars, and they play the Bills, Buccaneers, play the Texans again, in Texas. They play the Patriots. I wonder where that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's at Indianapolis, so they'll play New England here as well.
Bill Belichick's coming back.
And then they travel to Arizona to play the Cardinals. And
Dang.
they also, Raiders are coming here too to play at Lucas Oil. And questionably, Lucas Oil is probably one of the best stadiums.
It's really nice.
It is very nice.
I've only been twice.
I've been there. I went there for Monster Jam one year.
Oh, wow. Never been.
And that was fun. I was like 9. So obviously you like monster trucks jamming around.
Yes! More trucks. Smash, smash.
I think I've been to Banker's Life more than I've been to Lucas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love...
It's not even called Banker's Life anymore. You know that?
I didn't even know that.
Well, yeah, they just... One second. You keep talking. Because they changed it literally just a couple of weeks ago.
Did they really change it?
Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So no longer is it Banker's Life. Fieldhouse. It is the Gainbridge Fieldhouse of Indianapolis.
I'm never calling that.
It is hard to... It is really weird, the difference of how long I've been wanting to call it Banker's Life and now having to call it Gainbridge.
I'm not calling it that.
I'm going to have to keep calling it Banker's Life.
I'm calling it Banker's Life. I grew up as a Banker's Life.
It's just a nice name.
Yeah, Banker's Life. Like, why would you change it?
I don't know. Money. Hey. But let's stay more on topic right here.
It's not like Indianapolis has any good teams anyways.
Whoa. AFC South, I mean, Titans, I think they're going to run away with it.
Colts,
it's tough to say.
if they have too hard of a schedule, I think the Titans will take
Maybe
it
next
anyways.
year. Maybe next year.
I doubt it.
Okay.
When the season started this season, I told one of my best buddies that my partner on the radio at my high school, Pendleton Heights, I'm repping them with my hat today. But one day we were talking, and I told him he's a big Indy fan, but he absolutely despises Carson Wentz.
Wow.
And I told him, I was like, listen, I'm sorry to tell you this, but the Colts' success this season is on Carson Wentz. Sadly. I mean, if you put any success on a team and you put it on that man, I apologize for the inconvenience, but you are going to be strongly disappointed. Mm-hmm. Especially now, which I love Carson Wentz. I love him as a person. I've met him before. When I went to Philly and I got to watch a game in Philly and I got to he signed a football for me. But I like him as a person. As a football player, I don't, because I think he doesn't get enough credit for the Eagles winning against the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Not Tom Brady. Carson Wentz took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. And everybody gives credit to Nick Foles for...
Not at all.
Yes, he did win the Super Bowl. Yes, he got them through the playoffs. But it was Carson Wentz who tore his body up to make sure they made it there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people give credit to Nick Foles instead of Carson Wentz that they won the Super Bowl. But Carson Wentz was there coaching Nick Foles. That just tells you something. Mm-hmm. And his injuries have got to him, obviously. If Carson Wentz doesn't get his crap together, I don't think he will be a quarterback much longer in the league. I love him as a person, but if he does not figure out what is going on, he will have to retire. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Cam Newton.
Tough decisions.
Good
discussions, though.
This got depressing.
I like this.
Very fast.
Well, Draven, let us end this off with our top 3 AFC Super Bowl teams. I will start first, and I think it's pretty simple to say, really. From just the first 5 weeks, Ravens at 1, Bills at 2. Man, I can't put the Chiefs. I just can't. There's no logic there. Give me LA Chargers at 3. That's it. No one else. There's no one else I can say.
I think I'm
Everyone
gonna
else
put
hasn't been that good.
Chargers at 1.
Whoa! I don't know about that one, but okay.
Ravens at 2.
Okay.
I don't know.
Come on, man. It's Buffalo. How can it not be?
See, there's questions. Is Indianapolis going to go back to winning ways? Nobody knows. Kansas City. What the heck is happening with Kansas City? If they figure out what's happening with them, I feel like they could jump right back in at any time. But at the moment, right now, Week 6 preview, well, before Week 6, is Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would probably put Buffalo above.
Chargers?
No.
Or the Ravens?
The Ravens.
Okay.
I would probably put Chargers
Okay.
at 1, Bills at 2, and Ravens at 3.
I like that.
Only because Lamar Jackson has choked in the playoffs the past couple of years. And that's the biggest question I'm scared of. I love Lamar. I love his running. Everybody calls him a running back. But
Get over it by now.
those are my top 3 in the AFC.
Alright, man. This was a fun episode. First episode?
Actually, before we end it,
Yeah, let me hear it.
what is your Super Bowl prediction?
Rams, Ravens.
I don't know.
It's Rams, Ravens.
It's either going to be, hear me out, Rams, Bills, or I think if the Buccaneers make it, I feel like Buccaneers, Ravens.
What? I don't see it, man. I can't. I don't know what the Bucks.
Tom Brady versus Lamar Jackson would be the greatest game of all time. No question.
I don't know. Because if the Chiefs make the playoffs, then I would have to change my answer.
But that's the
Even
biggest
though,
question
even though
in the
Buffalo
AFC.
and Baltimore have both beat them. Let's just think that they both beat them. Oh, man. It's so early in the season. No one can truly tell just yet. They're just peeking around the corner, looking around at what teams can, not teams that will.
See, you can arguably say some of these teams will make the playoffs.
I'm talking about Super Bowl in general.
Oh,
Just the Super
yeah.
Bowl.
I think the Rams, no question, will probably make it.
Okay.
Their defense is way too strong for anybody. I think the only 3 offenses that could take that Rams defense, Buccaneers, they had a bad game in the regular season, obviously. Ravens, I feel like their offense could handle it pretty good. And Buffalo.
Okay.
Yes, they're in some of the same conferences.
Yeah.
But at the same time, those are good regular season games that eventually will happen. And I'm surprised neither of us said Cardinals. I think...
I just don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't think they can.
Probably week 10, we'll probably figure
them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The inexperience of Cliff Kingsbury might show. Say that.
Yeah.
But Draven, what a good first episode.
It was a very
You
good
had
episode.
it.
We missed our partner, but
Alex was not here.
Alex was not here, sadly.
Yes, but of course he was here with us in spirit. But hey, man, you guys better be watching out because
It actually might be you and Alex next week, and I won't be here.
Ooh, who says I'm gonna be here? Of course, I'm always here.
Nobody knows what's
I
going to
live
happen,
here,
guys.
I live in the basement, for God's sake. Oh man, but yeah, be on the lookout, guys. We got a lot coming with Sports Extra Uncut, and in the station as a whole, WZIS, it is going to be a lot of fun. Please be on the lookout. If you want to, go follow us on Twitter at WZIS-FM. Stay up to date, live scoring,
And
live
follow
tweeting.
our Instagram.
I forgot. I'm more of a Twitter guy.
I'm more of an Instagram guy.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you get all your information on Twitter though?
See,
nowadays?
I get scores from Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
but I usually don't get on Twitter. I
Yeah.
usually just get the notification. I'll be like, oh, any of that was lost. I put my phone down.
I got Rappaport and Schefter, got Woj bombs coming left and right. Man.
But when it comes to like albums and stuff from music,
Okay, we're talking about music.
Instagram is where it is.
Okay, that's a little different. But man, Draven, did you have fun today?
Yeah, I believe once Alex gets here,
Once we all get here,
this is going to be
Going crazy.
huge.
oh man, we all three love professional wrestling, by the way. So
Yeah, that's coming up too.
We're gonna have to get one out But we have a huge one coming up next week. We're not going to spoil anything, just be on your toes. But I already know the topic. Do you know the topic?
I did not.
Alright, I'll tell you after the show. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to the first episode of Sports Extra Uncut. I was Kobe Clark.
I'm just Raven Wiseman.
And I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your weekend. See ya. We're done, I guess.
I think you click.